Okay, so we've come a little bit further with the game development. So I'm just going to sort of dive in and start with some of the features that we've been developing. Okay, so obviously we've got a knight character um, in as a placeholder. It's final artwork, but it may not be the final character. Um, we've got a footstep system that gives audio cues based on surface type. Um, so depending on what surface he's walking on, we'll, we'll give off different sound cues as to whether it's wood, stone, gravel, etc. Um, we've got the basic AI following player at the moment. We've not actually got it attacking, or it's not animated in its movement as yet. We do have a combo system, so we can go over here and we can pick up a weapon. So it's got weapon in hand, and we have a weapon tracing system. So it's currently switched on, so you can actually see where the weapon trace is happening and where the hits will occur. So basically, what this is doing is it's tracing at 6 points along the blade length, as well as the hilt to tip blade within a damageable swing arc for each animation. And we've got a combo system that allows us to chain a number of attacks together. As you can see, the stamina is affected by the light attack chain combos and the heavy attack chain combos, which are a little bit slower, take a lot more stamina and obviously do a lot more damage. If you run out of stamina, you can't actually attack anymore, nor can you run anywhere if you run out of stamina. So we'll build a little bit of stamina up, and we'll show the damage system. Okay, so we can actually damage the enemy at the moment with our attacks. As you can see, where there's a green point, that's an intercept or a hit trace. So that means that the sword itself, because that's what we're tracing, we're not tracing any other method other than where the sword actually goes. So we've got an accurate hit trace on the enemy dies and disappears. So again, we've got hit trace happening on the enemies, which should lower, I get enough stamina, should lower his health to the point where the enemy dies. So we can put our weapon away, killed the enemies. Um, so that's the combos and the combat system as far. Um, Obviously, working on, or I'm working on the enemy actually attacking the player. We've got random roam code in that AI version there. Show some a few of the other things that we've been working on. Here's some of the models, some of the final artwork for the statues. This is the final artwork for the enemies. So we have the zombified dead enemies, enemy crow, the artwork for the ghouls. These are going to be our ghoul creatures. These are the aquatic underwater / sewer creatures. Sort of almost like mermen. We've got the necromancer modelling artwork complete. We have the skeleton mage, skeleton barbarians, skeleton leader, skeleton assassin, regular skeleton, armoured skeletons, the different models of armoured skeletons. Later on within the story there is the giant mummies. Got the artwork for those. The regular mummies, the ancient dead enemy in a number of different types. The Ghost King doing his thing, wandering around. We have Zombified Dog, Enemy Wolf, and Enemy Dog. So that's the complete for now list of enemies and complete artwork for the enemies for the game. We're still working on the AI, obviously in the path tracing and animations to attack the player and have various states, including running away and dependent on the situation. So we've got a bit of AI work to do still with the enemies. These are the quality that we're wanting from the hybrid metahumans. So this is a hybrid metahuman that we've developed with metahuman head and the body separately modelled with a metahuman face to make it look as realistic as possible. Got a number of final assets around the room for various characters and enemies and NPCs within the game. So I'll just quickly run through some of those. Various suits of armour, various knights in stages of undress and armour. The Persian faction in the Persian armour. We've got the Vikings, or one set of the Vikings with their armour. These are all final assets. Vikings, we've got a merchant character and town guards. We have other guards and enemies in a different type of armour. So these guys in the different styles of armour, and further characters from within the town. Going back to some more Viking characters, Wildman and Vikings. These are all final art assets. Going through here, we've got a bit of the wildlife, the fauna of the world, including deer, doe, fox, a lot of farmyard animals such as pigs, chickens, cows chewing the cud, goats, sheep, various boar. Obviously, FullBoar. We've paid a little bit of attention to the boars, and horses. We do have horse riding system in development. It's not fully functional at the moment on this character, but we do have a basic horse riding function we are implementing. There's a couple of the horse models. Some final asset on the horses. If we go over to now the level, so I'll just exit out of that. Let's load up one of the main city maps. So here we have like a walled city, like a citadel. Just to take a walk through it. So this is going to be one of the major locations within the game, obviously where trade, missions and the like will be garnered by the players. Just an example screen in the market, new characters. Obviously the AI is not fully implemented yet, and that's sort of a major work that we're on with at the moment, is getting the AI on the characters up and running. Take this one outside. And drop it on. Just to give an idea of some of the internal environments that we're developing, and obviously the lighting and effects that we're looking for. It's one of the major environments that we're working on. another one of the environments that we're developing. So it's got a few surprises towards the end of the game. Another one, let's have a look. This is one of the other environments that we're currently working on, which is an external outdoors Viking village with ruins up the centre of the map. Just make my way down through the forest into the village. Obviously, we've got plenty of chances for wildlife interactions once we get the wildlife AI system set up and propagation set up, which is our next major jobs. Gives you some idea of the fidelity and quality of the assets that we're working with for the outdoor environments. The master character component that we're working on has quite a few new features implemented. Each one of these boards is a new feature. If it's blue, it is a working blueprint. Yellow indicates that there's work to be done, or there's a blocker within it. Red, there is an error, so we need to readdress. Similarly, these orange ones also have a blocker that are causing issues within the code. These ones need full redesign. The prone system and the vault system, sadly, are going to have to be redesigned due to later changes with how we did some of the stamina methods. These whiteboards are some of the ones that we're currently working on. Restart options, damage and death of character, The drawing and sheathing of weapons has been tested. This one is okay, as is the auto pickup, and the line trace method for combat. This one has been alpha tested, and this one is working perfectly. The melee system you've seen in action with light and heavy melee attacks. This is the other half of the melee system. The ones that we're working on at the moment, obviously the sprint system and the stamina system, as it works with swimming, vaulting, and a few other issues that caused blockers that we're working through. Go to the animation blueprint. We have a number of new functions in here. Obviously the footstep and sound detection. We have animation notifies coming in to notify when weapons are being equipped and unequipped, when to use combo and chain attacks, and when to start and end the ray trace for casting damage when we're swinging weapons. So they're the main new features. Okay, so in terms of overall progress, we're definitely pushing things forwards. I think the major blockers at the moment are the certain issues with the AI and the animation for that gameplay loop. Beyond that, we are looking to move forward into beta as soon as we get the key functions of the main gameplay loops working. Over the next, well, hopefully over the next 2 weeks, we can take out those issues and push forward to start testing the main gameplay loops. Right, thanks for